We have some things to say, and it's the off season. So welcome back to Summer Shark Bytes. We'll call them Sunday Shark Bytes because we haven't even gotten through the entire spring. So join us and let's have some fun right here. Welcome to Sunday Shark Bytes, your off season chatter about everything hockey and maybe ocean rankings. We'll get to all that in just a jiffy, and we welcome you to this edition. If you want to be part of the show, as always, chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world, and especially in Sharks territory, on the YouTube page or the app. You can find us on all the social medias. You can also find us at tealtownusa .com. And if you want to support the pod, it keeps the lights on and doesn't make sure Ian pays 11 gajillion dollars to have streaming software. Uh, Venmo at Tealtown USA, or you can hit us up on a super chat donation. With that, I say good evening to Mr. Ian Reed.
Hi, we're here for real this time. I apologize for earlier.
Well, I mean, it's not technically your fault. I mean, we didn't know about that until we realized. Oh, yeah, that's set for 6 p.m. Eastern, and our feature starlet, the future Tony winner, that is Jules.
One, no, two. What's up, guys? Puckeye almost bullied us to go live at 3. But I was in
Hey,
a car and I said
okay.
no.
I mean, if the reminder went up, we weren't doing anything. I mean, why not? Then we can
Uh,
all have dinner going perfectly. All right. Well, it's
all
good to
right.
be on. It's been a minute since we've talked about everything besides Barracuda hockey, but that's where we'll start off. Well, we have a lot to get to tonight, including our thoughts through Week 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, including where our brackets are about to fall apart.
My bracket
Coaches are
is
like,
dead. My bracket isn't coming back. It's dead.
oh, then it's like the coaches and some GMs going like in sync and going bye bye bye. Islanders radio no longer exists. Seattle Kraken under pressure. TNT gets called out for not being at site for some playoff games. But let's begin locally, gang, with the San Jose Barracuda. On Saturday night, the Cuda made the rain train derail at the unexpected spot that was Crypto.com Arena with a 2-1 win to sweep the best of 3 series. It is their first playoff series win since beating the San Diego Gulls in the Pacific Division Finals back in 2017. You love to see it. It's been a bit since I'm trying to get this arm moving again. I haven't twirled a playoff towel in forever. Um, and good things to do this without no Podorowski, no Gushchin, no Bordalo, no Carlson. Askarov with a I guess you could say a redemption playoff run, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
overall thoughts. I'll start with you, Ian. Overall thoughts on the CUDA wins and finally hosting playoff games for the first time at TechCU Arena.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's about time, right? Because obviously they haven't been able to host games since Tech C was built. And I think it's pretty awesome. I think what they did with considering the subtractions from their lineup, they they're missing a ton of goals from the regular season in their lineup between Bartolo, Gushin, and Podorowski. Gushin probably the closest to coming back as he is only sick, and we know that whatever is going around that locker room kept Askarov out for the last couple of games of the season. So hopefully, by the time we get back to crypto or from crypto back to Tech CU, hopefully he will be over whatever is ailing him, and that'll help him. Bordalo is currently day to day. So, could he get back in the lineup? You kind of hope so. I think against a team like Colorado, you definitely need a guy like Thomas Bordalo back in the lineup. And then Podorowski, unfortunately, is week to week. So I'm not sure how far this playoff run would have to go in order for Podorowski to get back into the lineup.
Jules, I know you got your tickets for
Yeah.
game one. Your thoughts on everything? Seeing how this team came about in with the 2-game sweep. I know you weren't with us on Saturday night, but I mean, resiliency is kind of key in this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, like they again, like Ian said, they did it without arguably like some of their best offensive weapons, right? But I will say it was nice to see, the kids kind of come through last night. You got Graf scoring the game-winning goal, and then you had Askarov just, you know, what was it, 46 out of 47 saved this weekend. Like,
Yeah, over
that's
the
the
course of the
yeah,
weekend. Yeah,
that's who we traded for, right? That's who we gave up David Edstrom that Vegas first, right? Which is might be a pretty high Vegas first. We'll get to that. Um but no, like look, like it's great and like this team is only going to get better in my opinion as everyone gets healthy, right? And then you have to make the decision of like who are we taking out, right? Did I expect them to sweep this series going into it? No, because of the amount of injuries they had, because of the whole situation. But Askarov stood on his head. They played, I thought, overall pretty good hockey, and now they're off to play the number one seed, in the Colorado Eagles, which is going to be a test for them. They have Jacob McDonald, who's set an AHL record, former Barracuda. So it's not going to be easy per se, but if Askarov plays the way he plays, he can easily steal games for us, right? Like, I'm not saying we should rely on that, but I'm saying that's what it's going to take, especially without a lot of our top of offensive weapons. That was a tangent. I'm very caffeinated.
that's fine.
It's all good. So speaking of which, this is a best of 5 format. They go 2-3 in this. So the Cuda actually have the first 2 home games of this series, and that begins this Friday night at Texas Arena, 7 p.m. And
Come
then
say hi.
come say hi to Jules. She will be there for sure.
I'm trying to
And
bully Puckeye also to come. So
we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Game 2 Sunday at 6 p.m. That's next Sunday, May 4th, and then the series shifts to Colorado for the next 3 on Tuesday, May 6th at 6:05, and then a back-to-back scenario if it needs to go to 4 games on Wednesday, and then they get a 3-day layoff for the ultimate game 5 at 2 p.m. if necessary. So we'll be going into that. I will say, looking at tickets are going very fast. This should be a sellout really quickly. Although Kevin Lacey just did text me a moment ago that they said they are releasing more tickets available. So
no.
we'll see on that. So get your tickets quickly because it's going to be a big one. And honestly, a Friday night and a Sunday night is pretty sweet for the weekend, pre Cinco de Mayo down here. So get your tickets out and we'll have a good time. So we'll see you in that. Now, gang, this is gonna be an interesting one because they don't play till Friday, so Cuda get a few days off. However, gang, your thoughts on a 2-week layoff for Colorado and the first 2 games in San Jose? I mean, they're going to be well rested, but you talk about rest versus rest in this matter. I mean, Jules, I'll start with you. I mean, 2 weeks out is going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it can go two ways. They'll either come out kind of flat and just, rust because they haven't played for like 2 weeks and they're jumping straight into a meaningful hockey playoff game. It'll go that way or it'll go they're just fine. They're back to their normal selves and they're playing like the 1 seed, right? So it'll depend. We'll see what happens. I haven't, we'll see, right? Like those are the 2 ways it'll go. We'll find out. But for the Cuda, I think getting them some rest is important here just because of the amount of injuries they have. I'd expect them to come out strong. They have to.
Yeah, I think the issue for the Colorado Eagles, right? It's not like they're, yes, they've had time off, but it's not like they're not practicing or doing stuff to kind of keep them going, right? Like they're a pretty good run team. This was the best team in the Western Conference of the American Hockey League. And I think the danger for them is not only the layoff though, it's the danger of looking at this Barracuda team and being like, oh well, Podorowski's not there, and and obviously we don't know if Bortolo will be back. We're hoping Bortolo will be back, but if they see, no Thomas Bortolo, they see no Podorowski, I think this is a team that could get a little overconfident by that and kind of maybe start looking ahead of the Barracuda a little bit. And I think there's a danger there because we've seen teams before where they come in as the heavy favorite, and like let's not split hairs here. Colorado's the heavy favorite going into this series. So it could be very easy for them to kind of start looking past the Barracuda a little bit, and if the Barracuda play similar to how they played the Rain, without as long as they don't play like they played the Rain without for that little stretch where Cagnoni wasn't on the ice, I think they'll be fine. The danger is obviously like Cagnoni finished last game with the fishbowl, so it'll be interesting to see if the time benefits him some more if we see him back to maybe not having a fishbowl on. But I think that's the danger for the Barracudas. They can't afford any more injuries, especially not to Cagnoni, because he's the engine of the team. I mean, we watched yesterday and we talked about this yesterday pretty extensively, how without Cagnoni there was it was just chip and chase and there was no offensive pressure at all. And then the second Cagnoni gets back on the ice, the whole game changes.
Yeah.
So you know what, I think that the Barracuda are going to be in tough. I don't want to like I'm obviously I want the Barracuda to do well, but I think they're going to be in tough this series, and I think they are going to have to, as much as you don't want to rely on it, but Askarov I think is going to have to steal this series.
Yeah.
No matter if they get players back and such. So will be interesting to see what happens there. California Cruising planning to go to Game 3 in Colorado. The Colorado Barn is going to be loud. It was loud during the regular season versus Cuda. I can't wait. And I know we talked with Kevin on I think for both games of the Cuda After Darks, and he used to say he needed earplugs for that Cuda Classroom game. I can only imagine 4,000 plus kids and adults in there getting loud at TechCU. So looking forward to that scene on Friday night. So we go now from the AHL, we'll move up to the next level to the NHL, and it's already been a busy offseason as well, as Anaheim says adios to Greg Cronin, while New York said get out of here to Peter Laviolette as head coach. And also in New York, Lou Lamoriello wasn't renewed his deal. To which I think let's be honest here, many are expecting Islanders players to show up like Brent Burns and Joe Thornton in that ESPN magazine photo shoot. And hey, Anthony Duclair, if you stay on Long Island, much probably to perhaps the dismay of Patrick Waugh, you can grow those locks in the beard that you have here in San Jose. But while many call for Chris Drury's head to go along with Laviolette at MSG, Drury gets his contract extension here. I'll start with yeah, I'm a head scratcher indeed, Ian.
Yeah, the New York situation's interesting, right? I think obviously you have to kind of like Laviolette is a coach who I think he's kind of more of an old school coach. He has a shelf life, and that shelf life seems to be getting shorter and shorter because coaches in the NHL just don't last. Like I saw a graph of showing like comparison to other sports how long head coaches last, and like the average lifespan of a head coach in the NHL now, I think is like a year and a half to 2 years. Like that's like the average. Like it's getting crazy how often teams are hitting the eject the coach button. I think so far though, I think they're warranted. I'm gonna go to Anaheim first. I think Anaheim was a situation where I think the team definitely played better, but they probably just didn't they probably saw things that they didn't like. I've talked to a couple of Ducks fans and they said like, yeah, they were a better team, but there was just things that he didn't make adjustments on that really frustrated that fan base. So they're kind of looking to see uh, what's going to come in there now. I guess Quenneville is interviewed there, so it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being what it is. But in New York, I mean, the New York Rangers were a disaster this season. This is a team that won the President's Trophy last year. It's a team that was in the Eastern Conference Final last year, and it all starts in the summer when Barclay Goodrow becomes a Shark, and then it just seems like and then they tried to have a fight with Jacob Trouba over him leaving, and he didn't want to go, and so they really just couldn't get the malcontent out of that team, and I think at like some point like yeah, okay, like it sucks. Like what they did to Barclay Goodrow sucks. I'm not gonna defend that, right? What they did with Jacob Trouba, knowing his situation, that sucks too. But at the same time, it is a business, and if you don't have like the full no move, whatever, that's going to happen, right? Um, so I think, like it's, but they couldn't fix it, right? Like that acrimony in the locker room, from all accounts. I mean, I'm not in the New York Rangers locker room, obviously, but that acrimony stayed through the whole season, and they just couldn't get the thing back on the tracks. And when you look at the season there, and you look at the pieces that they have, they've got a lot of good pieces, but these are aging pieces. So it's not like this group is going to have a ton more kicks at the can. So I don't. The fact that Chris Drury, I think, is a lot of the issue here. To me, this says that we're going to see a lot of player turnover. I don't understand how you extend Chris Drury and not have to overhaul the roster significantly. Because look at if Dolan decided that Dolan, the owner of New York Rangers, has decided that Chris Drury is this guy, then and the players aren't happy with him, then obviously the players are going to have to go. So I'm fascinated to see what they do in the summer, if there's a way that they can fix this without some significant overhaul of the roster. But I think it's going to be roster overhaul.
And Drury's been there since what, May of 2021. I mean, he's gone through what, Quinn,
Mhm.
Gerard Gallant, Peter Laviolette. He'll be doing his at least his fourth head coach in his tenure in not even 4 years,
Mhm.
which is insane. Um,
So
so
can
go
I
ahead.
say something about the New York Rangers for a second? I'll get to the Ducks.
Yeah.
Like, looking at their roster, this team, in my opinion, should not have been as bad as they were this year. I think they had players who took steps back for sure. Like, you got to get more from Lafreniere. I don't know if it was the system. I don't know what it was, but 23-24, right? He puts up 28 goals, 29 points, 29 apples for 57 points, right? This year, 17 goals, 28 apples, 45 points. That's what, like 9 goals you lost from Lafreniere.
Mhm.
Like, it just feels like everyone kind of had off years for them. But like, even their blue line, it's not bad. You have Keandre Miller, you have Brandon Schneider, who's a good, you have Adam Fox, right? Like, this team should not be as bad as they were this year. Um, do I like Drury staying? No. Do I think it's always easier just to blame the coach when you have a down year? Yeah. But so I'd be interesting to see who they hire next, because it does feel, I don't want to say it feels like they're trying to squeeze out a last, stone from like something, but like, I don't know. My
If
point
that's
is
the
that,
case, don't it's John Tortorella, right? Like if
yeah,
you're
that's what I was gonna
if you
say.
go one kick, if you're looking for one more kick at the can, John Tortorella seems
But
like
like,
the guy that you would hire.
they
Although I
just
don't know how that would
rebuilded.
go.
Right.
They like just had a rebuild. It felt like
Mhm.
literally not even that long ago. So it'd be weird for them to, I don't know, like what I don't. They also didn't really play Gabe Perreault all that much, and they like healthy scratched him a few times towards the end of the year when they had literally nothing to play for. Like, they don't really use their young guys all that well, and then they don't give them the opportunity to actually develop. And then you heard Zach Jones' comments this year, like, you're never gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that, don't playing your young players is the only way to succeed. I'm saying you got to develop your guys, and it feels like they either just didn't do that at all, or some of their guys are super unhappy. Like, they got to have a culture change there also a little. But yeah.
That's what I mean.
And
Like it's got to be like you're gonna have to. You've decided on the management group. It's the players that are gonna have to go.
Yeah.
right.
But like, they just got Miller, right? Like,
Mhm.
they weren't a JT Miller away from being, and they also have the best goalie arguably in the league in Igor, right? So
Yep.
like, they should have been better than they were, and maybe it was Laviolette and the players stopped listening to him. Maybe it's management and the players are not listening to management. We'll find out this year, but yeah.
Yeah. And you could talk about Lafreniere. I mean, Panarin had a down year. I mean, when you lose that many goals, I mean that can really change a lot of things. Indeed. Plus, it was a rough ending for Shesterkin, and some people will say, well, he got his contract, and then what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean,
everyone
No,
turned to guard. Like everyone had a down year though. Like
right?
I
everyone did.
think Keandre Miller had a down year. I think like there's a little bit of regression there.
Chris
Trocheck,
Kreider.
Kreider, uh, you go down the list. Panarin. Like I feel like
Yeah.
there's all those guys didn't have the years that you'd want from them. And when all your guys stop having good years, it's all bad.
Can I also say one thing? Capo Caca, who they traded to the Seattle Kraken midway through the year, with the Seattle Kraken, given the opportunity playing on. I don't know if he was given like he was just playing on the top line a lot. So he had 10 goals, 20 assists, 30 points. Just ignore the minus 11. But like he's producing, right? For them. So just saying. And I'm not trying to throw shade. Rangers fans, don't come at me. I'm just saying what is NHL Network is telling me. So
Right. No. But speaking of Seattle, great segue, Jules. Thank you very much. And
anytime, I
speaking of
guess.
GMs, you're welcome. Seattle makes a change. First off, they let go of Dan Bilesman, future Cuda coach. Wishful thinking there. Was let go,
Oh,
and then a
Lord.
day later, Ron Francis moves up as former Buffalo Sabres GM Jason Botterill takes over for the Kraken. To me, it's a critical moment in the Emerald City as there is pressure on the Kraken to succeed up there and get winning happening prior to the eventual NBA expansion. The Supersonics return is highly anticipated whenever the NBA decides to go do expansion. I mean, it's almost a guarantee that Seattle and Vegas will be the two new teams, and the original team up there was beyond beloved in Seattle, and I'm almost certain it will likely come at Kraken ticket sales at the cost of Kraken ticket sales. So, I guess out of all of them, which availability is more desired? Jules, let's start with you. We have one in Anaheim, Seattle, uh, MSG,
Horrid.
Philly, Boston. I mean,
Okay, so out of all of those, it's Anaheim.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
can I say something real quick on Seattle?
Sure.
And their whole coaching situation. I will never understand firing a coach after 1 year. They literally just hired Bilesma like a year ago. In my opinion, you got to give like I know shelf lives are short, right? I'm aware, but the roster also wasn't that good enough for them to be competitive. Like it was just mid. Anyways, but yes, out of all of those like destinations, I think Anaheim they have a very good young defense core. Lacombe has come out of his shell. Leo Carlson, Trevor Zegras. Um, they have more guys coming. Like I just think that's the best situation. They made a huge leap this year for what 21 points. I think Philly's an interesting one. I think they got to pick a direction a little here, but I think that would also be an interesting one. But yeah, probably either Anaheim or Philly, I'd say, mainly because of Mitchkov.
and you're in agreement too with Anaheim, Ian?
Yeah, look, it's the Ducks, right? I think because you're looking for a team on the come up, where a lot of these teams are probably not on the come up. I mean, if like I think for a situation like New York, for example, there's a lot there. So if you can get a coach that is just a reputation for getting a lot out of players in a quick thing and then burning out, which is kind of what Laviolette did.
Torts.
So if you're a John Tortorella, like
Torts.
as much as I'm sure he doesn't want to go back and have to answer Brooksy's questions again, I think that would be I think that'd be a fit there. But I think if you're just like if you're trying to be a guy who's going to, if you're like a guy who's trying to break into the NHL, for example, like if you're one of these college guys, like I'd probably, if I'd have the Ducks kind of circled. Just because again, like this is an up and coming team. They've got a lot of pieces there. And I think, and they made a big improvement on the Seattle Kraken. It's weird, right? Because like the Kraken kind of, they had that one season where they made the playoffs, where they just were just shoot everything they shot at the net went in,
Yeah.
and then when that stopped, then everything kind of went back to the way it was supposed to
Right.
be. There's some intriguing pieces in Seattle, but I don't know, man. Like the idea that Ron Francis fails upwards somehow, amazing. Um,
Right.
Never
Jason
understand that.
Botterill coming in like that, that doesn't that doesn't
That
that
worries
doesn't
me.
inspire a ton of confidence. But I still think, and I think now we're gonna start, like I think now we're starting to get into this where we're gonna see, because I've always, like, every time there's a draft, I'm like always like, oh man, Seattle did great. Seattle did great. Now we're actually gonna see if they've actually done great, because I feel like now we're getting into the territory where we can really start judging some of these draft classes. And for a team who I've kind of seen as perpetual winners of the draft, it's going to be interesting to see what they've actually done and if it's as good as people thought it was.
Can I also add another destination, like if I were a coach, where I'd want to go to, because it was mentioned in the chat, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think Connor Bedard, Frank Nazar, they have
They're gonna
again.
get somebody
They're gonna get
again.
probably Misa, like Misa or Portone or maybe even Schaefer. Like I think they just have a really good group of young guys. Sam Renzel is criminally, I think, underrated to a certain degree. Um, you
Like
know,
they have there's a lot of pieces in Chicago I like. I love Frank Nazar. Um,
Frank Nazar was the guy I wanted the Sharks to take in that draft.
like Frank
More
Nazar is
people,
really good. They again, there's another team where I think
Oliver
they've got
Moore.
the pieces that are gonna as long as like some of these pieces keep developing at the rate that some of them seem to be. I think they're gonna be fine. But they can't have another season like this. They need to find someone to play with Bedard.
Can I address something, Tiger? You're saying they probably take Schaefer. I think they locked themselves in a interesting position where I think they have to go Misa. Like their blue line, in my opinion, is set a little for the future. With Lev Shunov, Rinzel, all those guys, Del Mastro. Like I think they locked themselves in a position by taking Lev Shunov last year, where they kind of have to go Misa
I
this
think
year.
their fan base would riot if they took Schaefer this year.
Yeah, like they
Like
just
I
put
think there'd
themselves in that
be a
position.
lot of discontent there in Chicago among their fan base if they took Schaefer. I look at if they take Schaefer. I mean, it's
That's a good blue
when you
line.
look at what, yeah, like I mean that blue line is going to be scary, kind of like their 2010 blue
Yeah,
line. Like you're starting to put that kind of blue line together, and that's terrifying. But I feel like they need some dynamic help up front with Bedard.
you
But I
can't.
don't know. Maybe they do take Schaefer. That'd be
Yeah,
that'd be fascinating. I just think like to me,
I mean, Sharks get Misa. I'm not mad.
I'm not mad. Like again, this draft is a situation where I don't really care who the Sharks get because it's gonna be fine. Um, I don't know, man. Like I think they need. I think they need dynamic help up front. Like I think they're probably kicking themselves for not taking Demidov. Well, maybe not. They seem to like lift enough, so maybe not. But I think that they need help up front. But who knows? I mean, if we get Michael Meese, I'm not crying.
but I am kind of with you guys. I think at the same time, though, you look at how frustrated and sad Bedard is. He's like, right. So Kane had Taves. Well, who's coming for me? I can't do Felino my entire career, but I digress. Let's see.
That's true. And Tiger making a good points. The one thing about having all those defensive prospects is you can flip them for help up front. Because like young defensemen, like no one really trades young D. So if young D becomes available, teams are generally dumb over trading for them.
I will say, like, and this is similar to the Chicago situation, but I'm gonna flip it about the Sharks for a second. Like if the Sharks get Misa, right, you could argue they have way too many forward prospects. Just like good upcoming kids that top six, whatever. Like Chicago and San Jose could work out a trade where, hey, we'll give you, throw out a good forward prospect we have for throw one of your good D man and then make a switch. Of course, there'll be draft picks involved, but it's kind of the similar situation, right? I think if the Sharks get Misa, if the Sharks get Martone, you could argue that.
Yeah, the draft is going to be very interesting, and I know we'll be talking about it in the draft lottery show, and amount of lead up to the draft is to it's not set for who has it or what you're looking at.
Yeah,
So
once we kind of have more clarity on where everyone's picking, and then we'll probably like we'll do the same stuff we do every year. Like we
yep,
always, I feel like our draft coverage is always pretty good, and we're hoping to continue on that trend.
yep. Alrighty, onward to the play on the ice, the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll quickly touch on all 8 series, and we'll begin with the Battle of Ontario, Toronto, Ottawa, where the Leafs lead the series 3-1. The game 5 is Tuesday. The Leafs win the first 3, including 2 in overtime. The Sens avoid a sweep with Jake Sanderson's OT game-winning goal. But I find 2 things very interesting, and it's like I keep seeing on the Twitter machine, Sens can do the funniest thing ever,
Mhm.
and in the Core 4 era, Toronto is 1-12 in series clinching games.
Um,
There's no way that
so here's
there's
my
no way
thought.
the 2014 Sharks get get off the hook,
Hear me
right?
out for a second. Just hear me out. I'm not sorry. I'm not saying I want this to happen. Please, no one come at me. I think if they win tomorrow, whenever they play, is that tomorrow? I think so. Whatever. If they win Game 5, like if they win Game 5, the series is over, done. If the Sens win Game 5, that's when I get a little concerned because I don't know if Toronto can win at in Ottawa for Game 6, and then Game 7 we all know the Leafs, right? So I think I honestly I don't want to say it's must win territory for Toronto, but I think they have to win tomorrow because otherwise that concern meter is just going up, right? Listen, I don't want this to happen. The Leafs deserve to be in the deserve to make it past. Like they're arguably the better team. The Sens are a very young up and coming team. They have, you know, Zetterland and a ton of other guys. Stützle is great. Brady Kachuk. Like they're a young team. They'll be back here. But if the Leafs blow this, whoo, the content. Sorry, Steve Dangle.
Oh God, that
I can be
that
unpinned now. Thank
that
goodness.
that poor guy will. Mhm.
But I think they have
He
to
might
win.
actually start doing Barracuda fan reaction if they were to get reverse swept. Um, so we'll see on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of disappointed in this series. I thought I'd have a little more juice, and I know it's weird to say that when you're talking about games that I think almost all of them have gone into overtime. But like, I thought there'd be more juice here, man. And it's kind of been a little bit of a letdown. I think. Look at credit to the Ottawa Senators for getting a win at home and giving their fans something. Giving the fans that much, I think was a nice thing. But Toronto's just been the better team. I think Toronto's generally had control of this series, and I just expect that to continue. It would it be the most hilarious thing ever? But yeah, but that can still happen in round two because again,
It's the Leafs.
it's the
No,
Leafs.
but
Like,
I'm just saying, like, they have to win tomorrow. I think we can all agree on it. Like, then the
Or
concern
Tuesday.
meter. Thank you, Tuesday, whenever. Like, in my opinion, you have to win that game because otherwise, I do think the concern meter goes up and Ottawa gets a lot of momentum. So that's just my opinion. We'll see if it happens. Not rooting for it, but
Yeah,
the
no.
Toronto.
Toronto are mid compared to the other arenas on TV. Yeah, and their own broadcaster called them out last year. That's just crazy. Like a Tiger, adding on, Ottawa have only led for 7 minutes of the entire series.
that's what I mean, right? Like, as good a story it is about, like, them extending the series and not getting swept and everything else. Like, it doesn't change the fact that even when, like, there's been the last game was the first time where I think Toronto was really controlling the shot clock, where Ottawa had been out shooting them more in the other games, and they're still winning, right? They're not cheating as much, and they're still putting like they're putting enough pucks in the net to win games. I don't see a path to victory here for the Senators. I just don't.
Someone clip that when the Leafs blow. I'm joking.
I can't imagine them blowing that big of a series lead.
I mean, I can't
I
either,
agree.
but if it
But
does,
if it does, I
If
will.
then the Sharks are off
oh
the hook, right? And then it's great.
no, then Vancouver's all the drama that Vancouver had, Toronto's basically going to say, "Hold my beer," in that because holy heck, the heads will roll in
Listen,
Toronto.
they probably won't. Like, they probably win on Tuesday, and we don't talk about this, but I always have to be the evil one and bring it up just to annoy
Right.
people. So
Evil Jews. Okay, sorry. Moving onward to Carolina, New Jersey. This thing is, I think, has gone as what many predicted here. Hurricanes win Game 4 on Sunday. Game 5 will be on Tuesday. Brent Burns headbutts former teammate Timo Meyer. And I know, Jules, I know you're disappointed that hopeful future Shark Simon Nemec with the double overtime winner in Game 3.
no, I
But
mean, sorry, go.
no,
Oh,
Gary.
no, I mean, look at the injuries New Jersey had, like, going into the playoffs, and then it just got worse during the playoffs, like with Dylan and Hughes out now, Luke Hughes, the other Hughes, and they don't have Jack Hughes. So, like, listen, like, they're gonna be fine in the future. I'm not worried about New Jersey. That blue line is insane in the future. Like, they're building a monster.
Too
Like,
small.
what did you say? It's too small.
Yep.
They have Anton Salayev coming over. So,
Yeah, that's true.
But they probably do need a little more size on the blue line. But like even then, like you have Luke Hughes and Simon Nemec anchoring your blue line for the next however long. Wouldn't be mad about that. But we all knew the Canes were gonna take care of this pretty easily. That's nothing against the Devils. They got injury riddled, and that's what happens.
Ian, I
It
mean,
just got silent. I was like, did I say something?
No. Yeah, look at I didn't give New Jersey much of a chance in this series. I think that Carolina's the better team. I think that when you again everything Jules said, the injuries are significant. Not having Jack Hughes is crazy, right? Like it's that he's the guy, and then losing more defensemen in the long run. Now they did lose Freddie Anderson today, right on schedule, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes going forward. Um, but it didn't matter in this. It didn't matter in the game today, so it'll be interesting to see. This is the problem with Carolina is like their goaltending is always made of glass,
Wow.
and Freddie Anderson goes down. So I don't know how much further they make it, even if they should finish with New Jersey and dispatch the Devils. But if Freddie Anderson isn't healthy, I don't know if I like their odds going forward.
I do think
gotcha.
Kochetkov's decent. Like I think he could hold his own. You know what I mean? Like they don't have like
Until he breaks.
Okay, well, if we're looking at it that way, by all right.
This is every Carolina playoff run. Every Carolina playoff run is this is what happens. Goalies
How
get
far do
hurt.
you have them
They
going in
they
your
go
bracket?
they go down like four. I think I have them going in the second round. I think they're I don't know. Let me find my bracket. I don't know. I don't
Um,
know.
Puck, I left, and now the kids are gonna cause chaos. No, but
Chaos in the
no, like
chaos in the
look,
chat.
um,
Let me see what I got here. I have them. Oh, I have them going to the conference final. I'm an idiot.
same.
Well, I don't believe in
Who
Washington.
Washington won today, so they just won 5-2, so they're up also 3-1. I mean, I guess let's just go right into that series. What did you think of, Montreal's putting up a fight, but they kind of made it unexpectedly. Like they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be good in the future. They have a promising young core. But like I think Washington might just be a bit too much for them that young core to handle right now.
Well, they're all gas, no brakes, the Montreal
Yeah.
Canadiens, and I think again, like it's a young team. They're ahead of schedule. I think that they can be very good going. I think they're going to be really good going forward. I think that they've got Demidov now. But again, like this is an interesting because you talk about goaltending injuries. The last game, both Montembeault and Thompson goes out. And you look Thompson, that Thompson collision
Thompson.
looked crazy. You're like, okay, well, there's his say goodbye to your MCL. Apparently fine, apparently not. He played today and it was fine, but Sam Montembeault didn't play. And yeah, so I mean, it's obviously the Montreal Canadiens were in tough as is, but I think without Sam Montembeault, they're pretty cooked.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Montreal. Great run,
No,
but
like amazing run. Like they're ahead of schedule. Like as a Habs fan, you have Michael Hage coming up. You have
Yeah.
other guys coming up. Like you should not be upset no matter what the result of this series is. Sorry,
right.
I
All has
completely
money. Yeah, it
interrupted
has
you.
money.
Yeah. No, but you know who is upset?
Me.
Poor Tom Wilson. Oh, I need my Ovi. Oh, my poor Ovi. Ooh. Yeah, okay, that's great. But
Amazing.
that was crazy to see nearly a bench clearing brawl uh happen in game 3. I'm like, what on earth is going on here? Shoot, man. I'm like,
I
okay. I mean, look, when you're done watching us, which you should always watch us all the way through, but when you're done, look up Mother's Day Massacre, Montreal, Quebec, if you want to see something that's
Oh,
just
that's a good one.
epic from the Canadians. Um, but yeah, that was just one of those best moments that you have to see.
Did you guys see the photo of Ryan Leonard and Lane Hudson just holding hands and watching all of them fight? There- There's a photo out there somewhere on the wild internet of you can just see Ryan Leonard, who's the Washington Prospects rookie, and then Lane Hudson, who's probably the Calder winner. Sorry, Sharks fans, but let's be real here. Holding fans and just watching the whole fight. No, I watched that and I was like, this is amazing. Like this is playoffs. This is awesome.
Yes. Jerry F with the super chat. Thank you as always. Today I'm joining the show with my son. Thanks. Appreciate you. I appreciate your son joining us. Appreciate all of you joining us. Be a fun one indeed. California Cruising saying I can't wait for Wilson to retire.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, he had an empty
he's a
netter and a big
character.
hit in this one. He's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, he's sticking around, and probably once Ovi retires, will be the captain of the Washington Capitals. Is my hot guess there. Him or Carlson. Um, but yeah. Anything else to add on this one?
To Ian's point, it feels like Washington and Montreal fighting in the benches is what we expected
Yeah.
Toronto and Ottawa to be, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, like I agree. Like there's been more juice in that series than from Toronto and Ottawa. And look at if it, these things can build over time though. So you never, if this becomes like a LA Edmonton situation, we can get there. There's still time.
We'll
Oh
talk
yeah.
about LA Edmonton. I have comments to make.
Yes, and we're getting to that right now. But first, we'll probably get to one of the best battle ofs. Um, I think in some time between Battle of Alberta, Battle of Ontario, Battle of California. Huh? Remember when there were multiple California teams in there? Tampa Bay and Florida Panthers lead the series 2-1. Game 4 is on Monday. Road teams won each game, which is kind of interesting. So throw out home ice advantage, I guess. This has been a feisty series as well. Perhaps getting that build up it deserves for a Battle of the Playoff series. I'll start with you, Jules. First, the Hagel hit on Barkov. He got suspended for it. Barkov did return for Game 3, but
So a few thoughts on this series. One, I'd like to apologize to the Florida Panthers because I think I underestimated them just a wee bit going into the playoffs. And I don't mean that like in a bad way or anything. It's just they kind of went on like a dry spell towards the end of the regular season. They didn't have a lot of their players, right? So I just wasn't sure if everything was just, suddenly everyone's healthy and everything's going to click. I should have learned that that's what was going to happen. Um, because
right.
they were argued like they won the first two games. It looked like honestly Tampa was dead in the waters, and then Tampa comes back and does Tampa things and makes it a series again. Regarding that Hagel hit, did you see John Cooper and Paul Maurice kind of going at each other a little with like we only hit the players with the puck comments? Did you guys see that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Matt Kachuk obviously
Yeah. I
hits.
think yeah.
I think they both like if you suspend one, I think you probably should have
Yeah, that's
suspended
what I
the
was
other.
gonna that's what I was gonna say because they were kind of similar in that sense.
Like
So
the
I just
same.
thought like if you were going to suspend Hagel, you should suspend Kachuk. I don't understand why they didn't. And I think that's just going to add more fuel to this fire, which I appreciate. But yeah, it's an interesting series, right? These are two very good teams going at it. And we'll see what happens, right? Like, honestly, I could make an argument for either of those two teams could have been in the cup final this year. So we'll see. Good series. Love it.
Do you want me to hit Troy B's question here quick?
Sure can.
Yeah, where can I watch the AHL hockey playoffs in Canada? All the AHL, if you want to watch it legitly, they're all on flowhockey.tv. If you don't want to watch it legitly, I can't tell you where to watch it now. But if you, um, there are sites that do stream the games. It might be on hockey dot something. I don't know, go find it. But yeah, like it's there are ways to watch it, obviously not legitly. I'm pretty sure the Flow Hockey you can pay monthly, so if you wanted to splash down a little money to pay for a month of it, you could do that on flowhockey.tv. That's how I watch the games. I subscribe to it. It's nice because not only can you watch the games, but you can also go back and watch them after the fact, which is also
Which is
nice.
great.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember those days of NHL.tv and
Ugh,
you can
I know,
watch
right?
old games and be like research previous games. It's like, oh, I remember that game back in October. Yeah.
So here's
So
my
glad
question.
for
Who do you guys
ESPN.
think ends up winning the series? Because I think it goes to 7. Who do you guys have winning
I
this?
don't think so here's the thing, right? Like obviously I think Florida's good. Florida's kind of been the team that I've that I've bandwagoned the last couple of years. I don't think Tampa's out of this yet. I think Tampa, like with the way they played the last game and with the way Vasilevsky played, like this, I think this series can go the distance. I'm not scared. Like I picked Tampa in this series. I'm not really scared of that yet. I think when you again, I think with if Connor Hellebuck doesn't exist, I think we're all talking about how good Vasilevsky's season was, and I think he gets up for big games, and I don't think that like I don't think he's been bad this series, and he was really good the last game. Kucherov's going to be up for the MVP. Like, there's a lot of juice on that Tampa team. But I think this was a tough series to me because like when I was picking my bracket, I'm like basically whoever wins this series is winning the East, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Mm.
Um, like I don't think there's anyone else in the field East that is going to beat either of these teams, depending on how long this goes and how bad they kill each other. But I think whoever wins this series is going to win the East. Um, yeah, I don't know. I picked Tampa in my bracket and I'm sticking with it. But yeah, I mean, look at Florida is still a really good team, and if Florida wins, I'm not really super upset that I picked the other way because I think it's really
Yeah.
a pick 'em series.
It's really a pick 'em series. You go either one. I was having a debate with it during my bracket, and I don't know. Especially how Tampa responded in Game 3. That really changed my way. I mean, if they were struggling and didn't dominate Game 3 like they did, I'd still say maybe give the edge to Florida. But I think all hands on deck. So
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be a good series. I think the series is far from over. It's interesting because, like, I think has anyone won at home yet? Like, everyone's in trouble
no.
in this series.
Yeah, no, everyone's one on the road.
Everyone's in trouble, right? Like, you're not in trouble till you lose at home. Well, everyone's lost at home, so I guess everyone's in trouble.
Everyone's in trouble. Yeah, there you go. Well, this playoffs has been weird though, right? In that sense, like, cause you look at some of the matchups, right? Everyone's been winning at home, and then others, everyone's been winning on the road. It's just been a weird kind of playoffs in that sense. But yeah.
Yep. Moving on to a goaltender that has struggled mightily and living up to his playoff persona, Winnipeg. They had a 2-0 series lead. It's now series tied 2-2. I mean, home team has won every game so far in this series. Playoff Hellebuck, yikes. They showed it on the broadcast today. Prior to well, I guess this also concludes today. 4+ goals allowed in 10 of his last 13 playoff games. Hellebuck's been pulled twice in this series. But Jules, I'll start with you because you wanted to talk about Cam freaking Fowler, a goal and 7 assists entering today's game.
I think I gave it shit when that trade happened. I'm 100% sure I was like, what is St. Louis doing when that trade happened? But listen, St. Louis was a team where like, and I'm not saying this just to say this because I want to look smart.
I do.
I'm
I want to look smart all the time.
no, like I genuinely also I'm looking at my bracket now and it's not Abs Tampa, so I don't know what I thought I put down, but it wasn't that. Anyways, no, my point is like Cam Fowler when it happened, I was like, what is that trade? But like honestly, I kind of wanted to put St. Louis over Winnipeg because Winnipeg's had a tendency to just kind of in the playoffs kind of choke just a little. Connor Hellebuck's stats in the playoffs are not what they are in the regular season, and this series is kind of proving that right now. Like he's been kind
It's
of awful.
crazy. It's crazy. And I think the thing that really upsets me about like the narrative on Connor Hellebuck right now is like people like, oh yeah, like you shouldn't be surprised because the Four Nations. And I'm like, the Four Nations, like that should not fit into this because that was not his
Different.
fault.
Yeah, that
No.
they left Connor McDavid open in the slot.
Yeah, like that wasn't his fault. Like Connor Hellebuck did everything that he could for Team USA to win that game. But yeah, it's so fascinating to see how this is happening again. Like I think he's like 15 goals saved above expected or something stupid like that. Like just
Ridiculous.
it's the like everything is just bad, and I don't understand it. I don't understand what happens when this switch flicks that he just can't make saves. And I don't think the team in front of him like I don't think the team in front of him is super great, but I don't think they like this. You look at some of these goals that are going in, and you're like, I don't think better defense helps this.
No. And it hasn't been a great defense wise either. I mean, he was getting blocked. His view has been blocked and everything. Marty, why do you leave the best hockey player in the world in the middle with the slot? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
wasn't Four
But,
Nations
like
different, right?
I
Like,
just hate like but that's the narrative, right? Like
yeah,
he
I know,
can't
I'm
win
aware.
big games and like go and I think it gets lumped in there with these playoff performances, and I don't think it's fair.
I mean, it's gonna be crazy to think, but do they, like Rob's saying, do they even think about starting Comrie for Game 5? I can't
No.
think. You just go back to him.
You have to
He's the
go back
goalie.
to Connor, right?
He's your goalie. So yes.
But like, listen, Winnipeg also has to win a series. Like, let's not get this mistaken. Like, they have
Yeah.
Shifley, Connor, DeMello. I think DeMello might be hurt. I'm sorry, Winnipeg. At least he was. I think I don't know if he's back though. I don't remember. But they have Sandberg. Like, they have Josh Morrissey. Like, they have the pieces to win. Like now, right? So
Yeah.
like,
Right.
they gotta, like, if they don't win this, it's like that's a little concerning because I love the Blues. I think they're a deep team offensively. I think they're like just very hard hitting. Jimmy Snuggerud's been a revelation for them in my opinion, but I would still take, Winnipeg over them firepower wise.
They shouldn't like look at Chris. Give all credit to the St. Louis Blues. They went on a hell of a run to get in the playoffs, but it wasn't like that run ended and then they kind of got cold before the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's not like this is like a team that went red hot into the playoffs. Like there was a gap where they were just kind of normal again and they kind of returned to being human. Like there's no reason, there's no, I like, if you're trying to massage this for Winnipeg, I don't know how you do it, because I just think it's unacceptable at this point. Like this is a series you have to win, and if they don't, I don't know what you do, right? And yeah, okay, you're missing Nick Ehlers and that sucks, but you still have guys that can
Okay.
put
Yeah.
the puck in the net.
I know they're also missing Velarde, but still, like Ehlers and Velarde being out, I know that's rough. But they should be getting Velarde back here pretty
But that
short.
doesn't. But
No, I'm
those
not saying
guys
that.
aren't gonna.
I'm just
Those
saying.
guys don't stop the puck, right?
I know,
That's the
I know.
problem.
Yeah, Connor Hellebuck has to be better. I think we can all agree on that.
Yes. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Ryan Hoyton saying Blues could to the final. They might be that Cinderella team. Yeah.
Can I just
Again,
say
play
R.I.P. my
freaking Gloria
bracket?
one more time.
Can I just say R.I.P. my bracket if the Blues make it to the
I think
finals?
RIP a
Oh, I
lot
think
of
a lot.
people's brackets.
Yeah.
If the Blues make it to the final.
Completely agree. Marty saying no. It's the Oilers here, baby. Yeah.
Oh God.
And Paul Medina. Yep. I'm with you. Future Shark Nick Ehlers. That would be a great one to go with.
I wanted future Shark Neil Pionk, but that has not going to happen anymore.
That's not gonna happen
Right.
anymore. Yeah.
Nope. We move just a little bit below Winnipeg to Minnesota for a great series so far between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. That series is tied 2-2. Game
Right.
5 on Tuesday. Is it me, or besides anyone in Minnesota, did anyone have this go 6? Because I thought
Let me check.
I think we had a lot of people thinking
I had
Vegas.
I had it
in
going
3.
6.
I have it 6. I have it in 6.
yeah.
I have the
I have
Vegas
it
Golden
in
Knights in
6?
6.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to
Um,
know what you guys were having, because I mean I didn't
well,
think Minnesota had a chance in this series.
to be fair, afterwards, like after the first game, I was like, why the hell did I even put Minnesota in 6? Sorry, Vegas
Right.
in 6. But I have an apology for Minnesota. Matt Boldy, you are a freak of nature, buddy. Good God. You want to talk about stars performing? Boldy and Kaprizov have been performing for the Wild. And if they're going to win this series, it's going to be because of Boldy and Kaprizov and ridiculously good goaltending by Gustafsson. I think Minnesota, people forget that they were like one of the best teams in the league early December, right?
Right.
Like they were at top of the league and all,
Mhm.
and then injuries just riddled them and they fell off a cliff. So I think people forget that, and I think they got kind of what was the other team? Like kind of like, I don't want to say kind of like Florida, but in a way like Florida. I think people underestimated them a bit. At least I underestimated Florida. I should not have done that. I'm aware I'm an idiot. But look, like Minnesota is putting up a fight against Vegas, and I actually wouldn't be surprised to see this go 7. They were 1 goal away from taking a 3-1 series lead. So there's that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at I watched the Wild play a lot because I was watching a lot of like when the season was ending and I was watching a lot of hockey. I was watching basically the teams that were fighting to get in, and the Wild didn't super impress me. Right, they played that game in San Jose that was like a what was like a eight
Oh,
seven
the one in
game or
Minnesota,
something
yeah, the 8.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and I'm like, how is this team gonna beat the Golden Knights? Like this, and that was the thing. Like they their starting goalie, like there's some of the goals he was letting in at the end of the season. I'm like, this team isn't doing shit in the playoffs. And then and they line up against Vegas, who is actually healthy, and they didn't have to abuse LTIR to get there. Um, and they were healthy going in, and so I'm like, there's no way. I did give Minnesota some credit though, because I do think Kaprizov is a difference maker, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Wild do now that they're not going to have like a bajillion dollars of dead cap. And that's the thing, like, it's always wild with this team, pardon the pun, is that like this team is
Ah,
as good
Yeah,
as it
but
is with like a bunch of cap space that they can't spend,
yeah, for sure. No,
right?
and that's yeah, and a ton of good prospects coming up.
And they do have a ton of good prospects coming up. So, I mean, it's hard. I think for Vegas, if I'm concerned a little bit, Vegas, I think Aiden Hill's been okay. Um, and I know I'm the one guy who's never been a big Aiden Hill guy, but again, I saw some of the goals that were going on in Minnesota at the end of the season, and I'm like, how is this team going to do anything? Jack Eichel has been pretty disappointing for me so far this round. I think he has to pick up his game significantly, because I think when they went on their run, like it was between him and Marcia so for the Conn Smythe, and he has
right.
not been like Jack Eichel has not been that guy so far. I think so. If he can find his game, I think Vegas can probably put away this Minnesota team, but like Kirill Kaprizov is so good, and I don't think we talk nearly enough about how good Kirill Kaprizov is. I mean, I know he gets some prep, but I think if this guy played in Toronto, like we would never hear the end of how great this guy is. Or if he played in New York, you know what I mean? Like he played somewhere other than Minnesota, like I can't imagine the level of superstar he would be.
Yeah, he's underrated a bit, and I'll throw Matt Bolt. Like I know Cappy's good, but him and Boldy are an insane duo. Um, yeah. So and now they also have William on the blue line, so they'll be dangerous. Even after this year, like their window is just opening. So bless
Bless
you.
you. Who was that?
It's my wife.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Thanks for the guest appearance on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so we'll move on to Colorado, Dallas, which I think has lived up to the expectations of the hype before the playoffs began. Series tied 2-2, Colorado with a big win the other night to send it back to Dallas, all even up. If you're a Sharks fan, of course, you're hoping for uh, maybe Colorado to win the series to get that first round pick to go up higher, and hopefully Colorado wins one more series to get that fifth round pick to go to a fourth, thanks to the Mackenzie Blackwood trade.
Yeah, I think this series like kind of it screws us one way or another with the picks. I think either way this goes, it kind of there's no maximum great for the Sharks coming out of this series. Like it's one of these teams is going to screw up one of those picks.
Yeah, I agree. But this series also like, can we talk about the game Gabe Landeskog return game?
Oh, jeez.
That was goosebumps. Like I was watching that and I was just like, wow. And then props on him for scoring. Listen, I love Dallas, but when you have Cody Cece as your top pairing defenseman with Essa Lindell, I just don't see Nathan McKinnon and Marty Natchez getting stopped by that. You know what I mean? Like Jake Ottinger, they pulled him even though I thought he was just not getting any help. Um,
Mhm.
Listen, I had Colorado in 6 in this series, and I still think it's gonna go that. But like, Dallas needs Heiskanen back, and I think if Miro comes back, then this becomes a, you know, because I think the Colorado we saw with Gabe back in the lineup is, they're the team to beat in my opinion. Like I think they're the honestly should be the Cup favorites. They finally have a goalie in Mackenzie Blackwood. Their blue line is ridiculous. They have Kale McCarr. Like I just don't see Dallas getting past them. And Miko
Uh,
Rantanen has not been what Miko Rantanen was in Colorado. Let's just get that out there right now.
Yeah, like this is pretty. Again, this series I think is pretty even. What do I have in this series? I know I have the Colorado Avalanche. I have the Colorado Avalanche as my Stanley Cup final. I have them winning in 7 because this again, like I feel like this series in the West and the Battle of Florida in the East. Those are the two series. These are the series that are going to decide your Stanley Cup final, in my opinion. Um, and it's and I feel like this series has definitely lived up to that. I got a little nervous when Dallas seemed to turn it on, because I think again, like if they do get Heiskanen back, then I think that changes things
Mm-hmm.
significantly in their favor. Um, but again, like this Colorado team, you look at how a lot of talk, obviously, a lot of focus is going to be on Mikko Rantanen, but this is a team where I think we don't talk about how well Marty Necas just fit into the Colorado lineup. And Forgiev isn't there anymore, torpedoing their playoff run, right? Like Mackenzie Blackwood, I think, has been really good in this series. And I think he's been, I think fortunately for Dallas, I think Jake Ottinger has been pretty good too. So I mean, you got two good goalies. I mean, this series has been a hell of a lot of fun. For my bracket, you know what, the NHL is so genius. Can we talk about the genius of the NHL for a minute? Gary Bettman's sending me another check. It's going to be amazing. But
It's a
like,
great check.
it's a
It'll be
great,
the
it's a
best
great
check
game.
ever.
The game's better, never been better. No, but you know what? Like the bracket challenge is so damn good, because here I am, and I actually I don't have a rooting interest, right? Other than my bracket.
No,
And I'm
same. Like,
I'm
I,
completely
but
like, the Sharks are not in the playoffs, and I am 100% super invested in who wins or loses, not just watching the teams play. I'm gonna be so sad when the round one's over, because yesterday game starting at 1 o'clock and then finishing when I go to bed. Same thing today.
oh yeah.
It doesn't get better than round one of the playoffs, man. All right, so now that I wait for the Gary Bettman check to clear, I don't know, man. This series is good, but I'm still think Colorado has the juice to get past it. And I think if they do, I don't know who else in the Western Conference is going to be able to stop them once they get
probably
past Dallas.
Vegas. If Vegas makes it past Minnesota,
It's a
it's
big
Vegas.
if. I mean,
But
I think Vegas is going to
yes,
win,
I know it's
but
a big
that's a
if.
big if.
But Jules is looking at her bracket, and it was completely the opposite of what she thought it was, and now she's very concerned for what Jules was thinking when she created her bracket. So, God damn it. Okay. Anyways,
Entering the
Gary.
spirit of Jules is Ricky Henderson as she talks to herself in third person. Oh,
I
you
always talk
goof.
about myself in the third person. Yeah, apparently I had Colorado, Carolina with a Leafs Carolina Eastern Conference final. So Jules, past Jules, what were you on? Anyways, I digress.
7.5% beer, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, going to the series that's actually playing right now as we record this, LA and Edmonton. Kings are up 2-1. Edmonton is down 1-0 in Game 4. Was it an Edmonton letdown? Obviously LA, who absolutely was the best on the home ice, it didn't work out for their minor league team on the same ice. And Ian, I'll start with you. What the hell was Jim Hiller thinking? I think that was a series changer if Edmonton pulls this one out in Game 4.
I don't know, man. I don't know what he was thinking. I think that I picked Edmonton in this series because it's hard to go against Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. The problem is that if those guys don't, like, this team is so weird, the Oilers, right? Because if they can't drag the team over the finish line, they won't get there. And it's
Right.
weird because they have guys that should be able to, provide that secondary oomph that they kind of seem to lack, right? You got guys like Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Vander Kane. Like, these are guys that can put the puck in the net and have put many pucks in the net over their NHL careers. But it's like, come playoffs, if it's not McDavid and Draisaitl dragging them over the finish line, it doesn't work. The Oilers probably should have addressed their goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can say that. Like, even last year, right? Like, when you look at when they got into when they were playing, going through the playoffs, like, there was just too many games where Stuart Skinner would be like, "Here, have a game, other team," and that happened. And that's kind of what happened in this series, right? Like, they go down 2-0 right away. just like they did in the final last year, because Stuart Skinner's awful. And now they've gone to, now to Calvin Pickard, which is fine. But again, like, it's not ideal. Marty talking in the chat, obviously not having Matthias Ekholm is a big deal for this team. I think um, Evan Bouchard's great with Matthias Ekholm and no one else apparently, and that's a problem for them. I think that's true. I it's a lot, right? Like I think a lot has kind of gone wrong for the Oilers. I think the LA Kings are a better team this year. I think getting Darcy Kemper has been a difference maker for them. I think he's been okay this series. Like his numbers aren't fantastic, but he's made the saves that he's needed to kind of get them the win, and they haven't. The Oilers haven't gotten that from Stuart Skinner. I again, like I kind of regret not taking the Kings in this series, because I think, yeah, logically looking, I think the Kings on paper were the better team, and I think a lot of people were like, no, this is going to be different this time. But I couldn't. They don't, but the Kings don't have a McDavid Draisaitl game breaking guy, and that's kind of why I took the Oilers, because I just feel like you can never go against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Especially again, because I think the Kings are good, but I don't think they have the game breakers that Edmonton does.
No, yeah. So I kind of had the opposite thing that Ian did. I took the Kings in 7.
Fight,
Um,
fight, fight, fight.
I love how you just said that and left. That was hilarious. No, I mean, I think the Kings made one of. I'm gonna be very complimentary of another trade here. The Andre Kuzmenko trade, I thought, has
Really
looked
good.
really good for the Kings. He just seemed to fit in on that top line. I think the Kings this year take care of Edmonton. That's nothing against Edmonton. That's nothing against Connor McDavid. I just think at some point, like, you know, Stuart Skinner, you can't. I think Calvin Pickard's going to get exposed as well as Stuart Skinner got exposed. Like, I think it's only a matter of
Kevin
time.
Pickard's not a starter.
Calvin
I don't
Pickard
think
is
he's getting exposed. I think he's just
yeah,
going
he's
to
just
play to
not a
his level
starter.
of.
Yeah, and he's just I think the Kings are just, I think, in my opinion, a little deeper. And I know you have your McDavids, I know you have your Drysaitls, but I think if your goalie isn't stopping the puck and if your defense doesn't know how to defend, you're not going to get anywhere. Like we have Klingberg in your top 4 with Boucher. Like that's Klingberg is not like you're not getting defense there from Klingberg. You know what I mean? So I just think the Kings are a better team this year than they were last year. Their goalie is making the saves he has to make, and that challenge was the stupidest thing on earth because, in my
It
opinion,
was
it cost
brutal.
them that game. I
Yeah,
think if they don't do that challenge, LA probably wins that game.
yeah.
So Oilers need a goalie is what we've been saying for the last like God
Since
knows
the
how many.
days of Dwayne Roloson, who
Yeah,
magically
right.
has a mask fall off of his head whenever he gets pressured with shots and shots and shots of barrage. Not that I remember 2006 or anything.
What don't you remember, puck guy?
Mm.
Anyways, but like no, look, like the Kings are a good team. I don't think the Oilers make it out of this round, but I could be wrong. But if your defense doesn't know how to defense,
I
you're not
just
going to get far. And
I can't
not having
see.
Ekholm
Not
just
having
sucks.
Ekholm hurts, and they can't buy a save. I don't know. You know what though? I'm gonna say, I've said this before, and I'm gonna say this again just for posterity's sake. The LA Kings, right? I think this is a team that kind of, I know they never, like, I like Quentin Byfield, but I know they never really got the game breaking guy in the rebuild. But they also didn't tear it down to the bolts either in the rebuild. Drew Doughty's still there. Anze Kopitar's still there. They didn't send everybody they possibly could out the door. I think they're fine for it.
I agree. They did the retool. Like they kept their
Oh, they
core.
still rebuild. I mean, they bottomed out. Like Quentin
Yeah.
Byfield's a
No,
second
no, I know.
overall pick.
Yeah. But it was more of like a retool rebuild, kind of a hybrid of that, where they didn't like fully tear it down and burn everything down.
I don't think you have to tear it down to the bolts.
I
That's my
I
point though.
agree. Yeah.
I think there's too much emphasis on tearing it down to the bolts, and I think it has worked, obviously, right? Like you
Right.
go back and you go back through some of the previous Stanley Cup champions, like you're going to see there's definitely something to it, but I don't think. But there's a lot more teams that tore it down to the bolts and have nothing to show for it.
Yep.
So that is the recap for the playoffs so far. We'll continue again throughout the playoffs, of course. So hope you enjoyed that one. Um, from AJ from Game One After Dark, and I think this was originally from Aesthetics. For the first time since 2018, teams are not wearing their third jerseys in the playoffs. It's all home and road, which is kind of interesting. You know,
Carolina's wearing their third.
that's technically their home.
What? Since when? When
Like
is the black jersey their home jersey? When
it's been
that's
like
when
the
does
last three. I think it was like last 3 years they flipped it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. But
I stand
Carolina,
corrected.
but Carolina is having an identity crisis with their uniforms. They need to figure that crap out, and I don't need to go on a rant on that one. Otherwise, we'd be here for 2 hours.
having an identity crisis on their jerseys is really funny to me. Anyways, keep going.
As for some rants and such, I will speak of. TNT catches criticism for having some games called from Atlanta versus on site. I know just a few years into that first 12-year deal Sportsnet had, they caught criticism for cheapening their coverage versus innovation when they originally signed the deal. Is it a lack of respect? I mean, is it just a little bit of cost?
People were just pissed off because TSN didn't have the rights. Like people were really people were just pissed off that TSN couldn't show games anymore. That's really what it was. I think there was a lot of people up here that like Sportsnet was never. And look, I'm not going to say Sportsnet's been amazing at what they've done, but like people were just super pissed that it wasn't TSN.
Yeah. And speaking of cost cutting needs, the Islanders scratched their radio broadcasts and going to a simulcast of their television feed. I know Dallas, I believe LA and Carolina are among the teams that do that. Does it cheapen the radio, or is it a cheapen of the bottom line? It just seems like you're cost cutting here and there, and you're just it just sucks.
I have a question though.
Hmm.
I and maybe this is just like, who is listening to games on the radio in the year 2025?
Well, you can't do it in the Bay Area.
Well, not like the actual radio, but like I'll listen to like it on my. Oh yeah, no, I don't. No, that's not even the radio anymore. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
No, I mean, I had a rant so many times. I think Dan Ruzanowski.
No, and I love Dan Ruzanowski, and
No,
I'm not trying to. This isn't a shot at Dan Ruzanowski.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I'm just asking, like, is this a thing? Is this a thing that people really continue to do? Where? I'm not going to fight you, Chris. I just want to know where. What's the situation where it's the radio?
Right. I mean, I used to rant to Ruzanowski about a local affiliate up here in the East Bay of where I live in Walnut Creek and Concord and in that area, because I couldn't get KFOX over here, and the Sacramento or the Napa station or the Stockton station was coming in blurry at night and everything. Now with streaming, yes, it is readily available. Obviously to sync it up with the TV feed is a bit of a pain, but it can be done. I don't know. I digress. It's just a bummer that it has, but I'm with Paul. If the Sharks ever cut Ruzanowski, there's no way they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's given.
This isn't a shot at Ruzanowski. I just wonder.
You're
like
taking shots at Ruzanowski.
No, I'm not. And like, okay, yes, I guess if you're in the car during a game, like radio makes a ton of sense in that situation. But I can't see like a situation where people are like, oh man, like there's so many ways to watch a game now that I don't know why you wouldn't just watch the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like in super specific situations, like where you're traveling or whatever, sure. Obviously radio makes a ton of sense in that situation, but like,
I'm sorry,
that's
I
a
love
very
John's
niche.
Latest clickbait. Ian hates Ruzanowski.
Oh, stop it. No, we're not doing that.
That's just a thumbnail for this video. That's the title. Sorry. Anyways.
Does Ian Reed hate
Ruzanowski?
Yeah.
Click here to find out.
Oh God, I'm glad we're not like that. Jeez. All right. Well, with that. With that, we will wrap this one up. And in case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, check us out at tealtownusa.com or wherever you get your podcasts. The audio version will be up in just a jiffy. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Click like on the way out, click subscribe, and tell all your friends. Thanks, Dangle, for that one. Also, if you're watching the replay, please leave a comment down below on what you thought of the playoffs so far. And
I want my score updates by carrier pigeon, is what I've decided.
oh my god,
With a snake attached.
Oh my god, no. Yeah, score update. Oh, pigeons here. Who scored?
pigeons!
Yeah, carrier pigeons. You know, you put
They're
the note
all
in their leg and they
pigeons.
fly and they.
Filthy, filthy pigeons. All right, we'll begin with final thoughts, and I'll start with
no.
you, Mr. Reed.
Oh man, it's all focused on me and everything. I'll make a good fit for thumbnail. There you go. Yeah, look, I think playoffs are great because of the playoffs. I'm super happy with the way things are gone. Obviously, I'm super excited that Barracuda are past the first round and they're going to be in tough against Colorado Eagle. But I'm looking forward to doing that, and we will continue to do shows after each Barracuda game. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, yeah, I don't know, man. Sharks do good, it's good. When the Sharks do nothing, it's good. There's a lot of drama going around, and none of it's in San Jose. So I think when the Sharks do good, it's good.
That's a good thing.
Well,
And
actually,
we'll
no,
find
there
out.
was one. Sam Dickinson only got 1 point during a 6-goal game or whatever. London did too.
Bust.
Bust. I mean,
Bust.
geez, Steve
I
Williams
know.
already playing for the Wild. Why can't the
I know.
Sharks?
Yeah, I know.
God.
Tigers
All right,
shoot me.
Jules, your turn. Your final thoughts.
I need an Avs. I literally only listen. I need my bracket. I gotta keep my winning streak going here. So, Avs Carolina, you better make the cup final. That's all.
All right. As for me, hey, I'm
I
so
just looked
excited
up
for
the snake that Tiger is going to send me, and I do not want.
Wait, hang on, Tiger. You're sending Ian a snake.
Do not want.
Tiger, if you do that, I'll laugh so hard. Can you open it live on air, Ian?
No. Can I? Yeah. You want to see the picture of the snake?
Yeah, let's show it. No,
Oh my god.
yeah, let's see a photo of the snake.
Well,
Okay,
well,
you
well,
knew
well,
this was gonna derail. That's all.
well, I know you guys love to derail things, of course. We will have Barracuda After Dark coming up on Friday. Oh, there we go.
Ooh, it's cute.
No, it's not.
It's deadly,
terrifying.
but it's cute. Oh, but I do agree. I don't like things with no legs. Like it's a little like you just slide out. It's kind
Yeah,
of cute.
it's not
but
natural.
It's also terrible.
Kind of looks like the
You know, also
Vegas
starts with
Golden
a
Knights.
sound. Satan.
I was gonna. It kind of looks like the head of the
What the
Golden Knights mascot, Chance. I don't know.
That's why.
All right.
That's it.
So Friday will be Barracuda After Dark, and then also Sunday. We would normally do Sunday Shark Bytes then, but it will be Barracuda After Dark. We're still hearing May 5th for the draft lottery. We'll see, depending on when these series start ending. We'll find out sometime this week when that will be, and we'll have that coverage for you. If the league can actually make up their mind, it'd be nice so I can get the time off. Just putting that out.
If the league could figure that out, that'd be awesome.
Right. So that means you hit that notification bell. That'll notify you when we do go on the air. For Ian, for Jules, for everyone here, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you on Friday, unless something breaks for some reason. Good night, everyone.
We fix it.
That's right, with super glue and duct tape.